I can't hear you, Steve.
Am I better?
Now I got you.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fence Talk. I'm your host, Steve Molloy. And as I said, joining me tonight is my buddy from Ace Burhead, Curtis. Curtis, how you been, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm battling a storm over here. It's going on. I told you about it. So it was touch and go. I almost couldn't make it, man. The storm almost took me out, but I'm here. I'm happy to be here, Steve. I love you, brother. I'm glad to be on the show. Talk some Dolphins, actually some positive stuff. What the hell?
Is this
real?
Exactly. It's
Memorex.
Crazy, right?
yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad to have you on, Curtis. And as always, you're doing some great stuff over there on your channel. Watched a great podcast today. You've had several, mini podcasts, I guess you could say, over the past couple of weeks, and they've been excellent. I've watched every single one of them. So, but today I want you to let everybody know exactly what you got going on over there, so we can promote your stuff, man, because you got some great stuff, and everybody should be over there listening to that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Curtis at Ace per Head. I'm trying to expand out. I'm trying to get back to the Twitter thing. I know that's the way you get your exposure and stuff. So, Curtis at Finn's News 1 at the Twitter. I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks, and I'm going to gird up my loins to get back on it. And I'm even thinking about starting my own side channel. But for now, it's YouTube, Curtis at Ace per Head or aceperhead.com, and then, or I guess that's what it is. And then the Twitter thing. So that's where you can find me. I do my little jazz over there. And then I show up on your channel. Oh, also with George from Finn's Faithful Podcast. We're on a lot.
That's right.
We're doing a lot of cool stuff going forward. So that's it.
I've seen you on there as well a few times.
Oh, he's great. I love Jason. I love George. I love Finn's Sammy. There's a lot of great guys. A lot of great guys.
There is.
And Bobby, too. I hung out with Bobby the other day remember a couple of weeks ago, and he's great.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Bobby from Finn's Talk Sports Network. Yep, for sure. Bobby Melendez. Yeah, exactly. So tonight, man, as you said, man, we got a lot of good stuff going on right now. I mean, it's great. I'm feeling really excited for the season. Look, I don't expect a lot. It'd be like the cherry with cream on top, or the cream with the cherry on top. If they do have a winning season, make a winning season out of it, and maybe even go to the playoffs, that would be wonderful. Don't expect it, but you never know.
I don't even know if I want that. Yeah, because the reality is that look, I'd love it if that would be the beginning to an acceleration phase, but there is a way to build a team. There's a process. There's a timeline. There's a coming together of the pieces. Yes. And really, we've got to dump so much stuff. We've got to, look, we got rid of all these guys, the Ingroffs and the Greers and the Allens. We cleared them out, and we cleaned out the coaching staff for the most part. We've got to go clear out this roster. And if you're going to do that, I expect that if he's a good coach, it'll be like a Flores type thing where you get a few more wins. I don't expect the number 1 overall pick. But I do think that if you do this right and you got this roster, even a good staff, you're winning a handful of games. And that will give you a top pick, a whole draft of top picks, and it'll allow you to do some more stuff. And I think that's just the right way to do it. So if we got to a 7 or 8 or 9, I just don't think that would be long-term. And likely if we got to that point, that's because we kept things we should get rid of that it's not going to help. Like the Minka Fitzpatrick. I want to get a 3rd-round pick for that guy. He's not going to be here in 2 or 3 years. So whatever. I would like to see it. Yeah, if we would just take off and go to the moon, playoffs this year, next year. But I just don't. I don't know if I see that.
Yeah, I don't see it, but I'm just hopeful thinking. I'm excited. And everything.
Build right. That's the goal for me. I think that's the hope. Yep. Build right. No BS. Build, rush it, fake it, smudge it to make it look good for a season or 2.
Exactly. And we'll get into the players and things like that, who we should keep, who we shouldn't, at least in our opinions, right? We're just projecting. But first thing I like to go over is some of the new coaches that have been implemented in this Dolphin organization. And I have some names, and I might be missing some, but let's just go over some of the names, and then we can talk about just a couple of them. So, of course, we got Jeff Hafley as our head coach, and he likes to be called Half. So I'm going to call him Half. Then we've got the offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, who was with us last year, with Mike McDaniel.
He was one of the 5 OCs.
One of the 5 OCs, exactly. And then the defensive coordinator, as we projected, Sean Dugan from the Green Bay Packers. It's worked with him, and
that's his right-hand man.
Yeah, it's his wingman. So, hey.
I like that better, wingman. Yeah, it's his wingman.
There you go, wingman, yeah. And then we got the special teams coordinator, Chris Tober, who has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
In the NFL.
He's been successful. Look what he did with the Bills last year. There's a major reason they got as far as they did.
Yeah, for sure. Then we got quarterbacks coach. Tentatively, I'm going to say tentatively because I heard some information, some rumors that are floating around out there on X.
Yeah, I was surprised. I never heard that, man. That was news to me.
Yeah. Well, I just found out about it just a few minutes ago before you even came up. But Nathaniel Hackett, there's some rumors that a lot of y'all are probably going to see it. It's possibility he could take the offensive coordinator position with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, that's just rumors. I don't even know if he's signed yet here in Miami, if he's even made a trip down here yet. But anyway, Nathaniel Hackett as a quarterbacks coach, tentatively, I'll just put it that way. Running backs coach Lydell Betts, who's ex-NFL running back. Excuse me. Wide receivers coach Tyke Tolbert. Tyke,
man, that's a name.
Yeah, it is. And then offensive line coach Zach Yenser.
Oh man, I heard it was Applebaum at first.
Well, Applebaum has been hired as an assistant to him.
Oh, okay.
So he was here 2 years ago. He was
22. And he was fighting with Smith over Eichenberg over Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's back along with Zach Yenser as the official offensive line coach, and he takes the assistant role under him. Defensive line coach, which I like. We've kept Austin Clark. Some continuity in the trenches there on the offensive line. Linebackers coach Joe Barry.
Yeah.
Another guy was with us last year, did a good job with the linebackers. Defensive backs coach Ryan Downard. And did I offensive line coach? Yeah. Zach Yenser. So that means in Barry we trust is gone.
Thank
Butch
God.
Barry. Yeah, I wasn't too.
Gosh,
crazy
that was such a hype job. I don't know how people even went with that. Butch Barry we trust.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Hey, how's it going, DSG label? Nice to see you, brother. And so let's talk about at least a couple of those coaches before we get to the players and things like that. Let's talk about Bobby Slowick, or let's go on the offensive side of the ball first. What is your take on Bobby Slowick? Do you think that was a good idea? Is he a kind of a stopgap guy, or what? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think he might end up being a stopgap guy. I don't think there's anything about him that says he's the guy. When he was with the Texans, I remember watching him like, what the hell is this guy doing? He wasn't protecting Stroud with play action. And then later in the season, he went into it. It came out, a bunch of people doing videos showing how he wasn't really scheming up protections well. And it was very it wasn't very adaptive the way he was setting up protections. And that really aided towards Stroud getting the hell beat out of him. They was talk about him getting plays in late, not really being adaptive. He seemed like he was McDaniel 2.0. And a lot of the same things. And, he had issues with Stroud, banged heads with them. and he has a little bit of a personality that I'm not really like too fond of. He seems one of those intellectual guys, a little high strung, a little skittish, but he's got a real tight relationship with Halfley. He has experience. And then you have to wonder, well, was it really the offensive line talent that really, because they were terrible the 2 years he was there. The offensive line talent was terrible. And Stroud sucks. I mean, Stroud.
Yeah, he's taken a step back, man, since his rookie year.
So, it's hard to say, was it him? Was it the surrounding pieces? Was it a mixture? I don't know. I think at the very least, he's solid. And, look at Flores with O'Shea. He brought him in for a year. It was a guy he knew he felt comfortable with. He had some success. People trust him a little bit more. And then he got Gailey, who I thought was exceptional. So at the very least, he's decent. He's got experience, and there's that connection. And if you move off him, it's not – look, the GM's the main thing. That's the immovable piece. You lose your GM, the whole thing is out the window. So Sullivan's got to be the ace guy that doesn't go anywhere. And Halfley's pretty close to it. It's not absolute. Like if Sullivan drafts out of his mind and Halfley's just not the guy, you'll get another guy in here. So really it's just basically Halfley, Sullivan, and the picks that are the immovable ones. Slowick could get moved out. Give him a year, get this thing solidified. If he's no good, no bueno, get him out. If they have success, even if they have like great success, 2 years, somebody's probably going to hire him to be something.
Exactly.
So, I think it was, who was it? It was Aikman, I think, was talking about that today. The problem with the DC is you got to have a pipeline of offensive coordinators.
Exactly.
Offensive minds. So it is what it is. I don't, in any way, shape, or form, think he's the guy. But maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. I don't think he is the guy unless he really does something, like you said, outstanding this year.
Yeah.
I think Halfley brought him in because he's comfortable with him. He's familiar with him. They know each other. And there'd be some continuity on the offense. It's not going to be such a drastic change overnight, with
that's the thing too. Yeah, great. Yeah, him and McDaniel, they could use that talent.
Yeah, exactly.
The concepts.
Exactly. Good point. All the concepts and things. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes with Slowick. And I want to thank everybody that's joining here tonight in the chat. And everybody that's out there, whatever platform you're on, come over here, join the channel, join the community over here. And there's a bell down there. Hit that bell if you're new to the channel, and then subscribe, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors, and whoever is watching right now too, whatever platform that is, come over here and hit that like button if you are subscribed. Okay. And if you're in here in the chat, hit that like button so we can send out more notifications to other Dolph fans that are unaware that this show is going on right now. This is some great content here. But yeah, I agree with you on the Slowick thing. If he works out, as you said, it's a possibility he's going to move on anyway. And if he doesn't work out, then you just let him go, and hopefully Halfley has a pipeline, as Troy Aikman said, of other candidates that would fit into that position.
Yeah, and look at Campbell with the loss of Ben Johnson. I dare say that Ben Johnson was more valuable than Dan Campbell.
Now that's a good point.
I like Dan Campbell a lot, but I think that Ben Johnson's brilliant.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because our coach he will be calling the offensive plays, but he's a defensive guy.
No, yeah, he's going to call the defensive plays.
He's going to call the defensive plays. That's
yeah.
I'm sorry. I got all mixed up.
Don't worry about
it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't had a lot of sleep. Anyway, it's a long story why. But anyway, yeah. So
I don't like the fact that he's calling the defense. I mean, and I don't dislike.
Right, you did mention that. You mentioned that today.
But look, I understand. And I'm sure that Duggan's going to help facilitate the week, and that's what he's going to be for. And so just basically be Halfley calling that. But it's difficult when you got to do those two jobs. So if he can pull it off, it'll be great. But I was hoping he'd just be the HC. But
yeah, me too. I agree with you on that point. As you said in your show today earlier, yeah, I was hoping that we get a coach that just primarily is focused on his, on the whole, the whole team, as opposed to just, that's just and he's going to be a first time. Well, he won't be a first time defensive coordinator calling plays, but he's going to be a first time head coach calling plays.
Well, he was, yeah. Well, did he call the plays in Boston College
as a head coach? I'm not sure. I don't know if he did or not.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. But anyway, we'll see how it works out. I just hope it's not going to be one of those, not getting the plays in on time and delay of games and things.
Well, you know what it is though. Look. I really believe in psychology. Like, I'm not overly insane about it, but I believe that you could study people and kind of draw parallels. You look at McDaniel, like I couldn't even speak in public without he just didn't seem like a guy who was on point. But you look at Hafley, this guy's on point. Everybody who meets him is really impressed with him. He's personable, yet he's articulate. So there's guys who could do it. And, he has the personality type to be a guy who can do it. And so you can't really just say, oh, well, look at McDaniel. He was a first time and he screwed up, because this guy's had head coaching experience. He was a defensive coordinator. McDaniel had nothing. He was a run game coordinator up in a booth, and he can't even speak in public without stuttering. So that's a good point.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And he kept doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. He never learned his lesson after 4 years.
No. He couldn't even get disciplined. You're not going to go anywhere.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So
what do you think about him going to the Chargers? You think he's going to do anything there?
As an offensive coordinator for the Chargers,
I don't like his play call.
You know what? I think
is Harbaugh going to be charged really or something, or working with him?
I don't know how that's going to work out over there. If he takes everything, his baggage that he had over here in Miami to the Chargers as his offensive coordinator, I feel sorry for Herbert.
Oh
yeah. But I don't know, man.
That's going to be interesting for me.
I definitely am going to watch for sure. I'm going to watch for sure. See how he does over there. Hey, he may do well. Who knows? But let's talk a little bit about the defense side of the ball now. Today, you in your podcast, and I definitely recommend everybody that's in the chat or wherever you're at right now, go ahead and check.
I double that. I second that notion.
Go check that out. There's some good stuff there. So from what we understand, okay, is he's going to run, Hafley's going to run a 4-3 defense.
Yeah.
And
it's very Fangio-esque in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be Fangio in this respect. I think it's going to be a bend but don't break defense.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But you made some great points today about the defensive backfield and the linebackers and on the defense as far as the passing game goes. Can you kind of go over that, what you were talking about, those concepts and things that you brought up?
Yeah, I had, I did a podcast prior to this, and I talked about how Weaver was generally speaking around 40 to 50% blitz, man coverage, and then Hafley was like 20, 25, and I have a resident troll, and he's like, you don't know, you got to do better. We were in zone. And I'm like, so I said, all right, man, I'm going to do better. I'm going to go help you out. So, look, PFF has a very weak side. It's his overall grades. But if you go into the back office, it has loads of statistics. And one of those statistics is the reps that a corner, DB, or a linebacker, or safety gets in either man or zone. And so people, and even me, when he had said that, I'm like, I got a little confused there, and I had to do my research. People get confused because the NFL really now is not about running all zone and all man. It's the assignments. And so Weaver, he had, none of his cornerbacks were over like 25 or like one maybe was close to 30% zone man. And so it would be very easy to say, well, that we only ran zone 20-something% of the time. But when you look at the linebacking group, they were also in around 20 to 25% man. And so when you understand that spreads out the assignments, and if you look at, say, Halfley, his linebackers only ran man 8 to 20%. So his maximum was our minimum. And so when you understand, a lot of times we were running zone on the outside, but then we were playing heavy man inside, and people would complain about, say, Brooks and his coverage. But a lot of times he was the guy playing man, asked to go on the line, the running back and the tight end, and then the pressure wasn't getting there. But Halfley is a guy, he is very structured where he'll call all man, he'll call all zone, but the majority of the time it's all zone. It's not a highly intellectual scheme. It's about getting guys to be clear on their assignments and getting them to play fast. But Weaver was a hybrid guy. He had, he would run a 2-gap, 1-gap on the D-line. He'd have man and zone mixed. It'd be a hybrid system. And so when you add up all the numbers between the cornerbacks and the linebackers, there was like a 17% dispersion difference between the linebackers.
Wow.
It was like a 10 to 12% difference on the DBs. And so it was a heavy man system, but not man, and the whole thing was man, but the assignments, the structure was totally different, where Halfley is a more clear-cut structure, more zone-based structure. There's caps to the man assignments. Usually they use in red zone, third down, off-schedule third downs, where Weaver, he was just doing them all the time, trying to catch guys. He was doing a lot of that Raven stuff. And so you're going to see the linebackers will be, I think Brooks is going to be much, much better. People talk about, he needs to be more like the Texans linebacker, but that guy runs a lot of zones. They're constantly running 4-man rushes and 7 DBs, and those 4 guys are getting after the quarterback quick. So it alters the assignment. You can't just look at numbers, and that's one of the problems with PFF. It doesn't really do context. You've got to create your own context with your brain, look into the stats. And, like I built my own portfolio of statistics and analytics, a basket on certain aspects, but it's all about context. So if you have 2 guys and one guy's got to cover for 4 seconds on the regular, and the other guy's got to cover for 2.2 seconds, who's got the harder job? And so it'd be easier for the guy at the 2.2 to have a much higher grade. So Al Shazier, whatever his name is, had a much easier job. And Brooks was asked to do a lot of man with no rush, but he was getting after the quarterback way better than Shazier, whatever the guy's name is, way better in the run stop, way better in the tackling. And then you're going to add in zone coverage, and hopefully with the 1-gap attack, a quicker time to throw on these quarterbacks. If you could get his coverage up, just imagine what would happen if you parlay that into the rest of his abilities. He will be an absolute stud. And no matter how you slice it, putting a guy into zone with his skill sets, his talents, it's going to be a lot easier than playing man. It's so difficult to play man, especially when you stretch that clock into the 3-second mark, which we would regularly do. We couldn't get after the quarterback, but unless we blitzed. And then when we blitz, that would thin out the secondaries, leave him on man. And then he's like, the neon sign, attack him. And so I really think that what we're going to, in another aspect, is that when you run a lot of man, we didn't run a lot of man with Weaver. It was the cornerbacks. We did enough, but not a lot. It was Flores and Boyer was more the heavy man. But when you lean into the zone a lot more, you can find guys deeper into the draft because you're looking guys with short area quickness. They don't have to be super fast. I mean, and then they got to be smart. So you can stretch your looks for guys. Like if you go look at Tampa, when they ran to Tampa 2 with Dungy, they got almost all their guys later in the draft as their corners and their safeties, because you're just looking for guys mostly that are very smart and short area quickness. Whereas if you're going for man, they've got to be very fast. They've got to have short area quickness. They've got to be physical, and they got to be, have good agility. They got to have it all. And that's very hard to find outside that first round. So there's a lot to be liked about what Hafley's doing, most notably on the D line. Grant is a shooter. He looks like he should be a two-gap controller on the line, but he's not. He's not. He's got a grandma's chest, but he's got an excellent explosion. He can shoot that gap just like Sela. Sela doesn't have the grandma chest, but he's way better at shooting these gaps. And so I think, there's weaknesses, but when you pull the whole thing together, I think you could see a decent boost in this defense, because it's going to, I think, create a better structure to get more out of certain guys and then find guys more in the draft instead of the top. You're not going to be pinned to get a top cornerback in the first round. So that's my 5 cents.
Yeah, that's like 10 cents, actually. That's a lot of good stuff there. But here's my question to you. And I know you just mentioned Grant, Sealer. Do we have the personnel in the trenches on the defense side of the ball to do what he wants to do? Do you think a Jordan Phillips will fit that? Do you think Chop Robinson will fit that? Do you think
no, I don't think Chop will. No. I think I'm actually doing some film now. I want to watch him in his one gap ability. I got to go back over his traits in the one gap. He's a wrestler, so there's things he could do. At first, I was like, I didn't think that he would fit, because I think he's more of a two gap. But then as I started going over it, I saw a comment and somebody said that Hafley was very big on Phillips. And it made me want to reconsider my standpoint. But I got to go over his tape.
Right.
He is a wrestler. And so while he doesn't have the great pop and speed, being a wrestler, you can shave and cut between two guys and split that gap. And if you're strong enough and you're a wrestler, then you can
leverage.
Yeah. So he doesn't have that natural, shoot kind of one gapper, but there's many ways to skin a cat, although no cats will be skinned on this podcast. But so I had to really I had to go back over the film, but I don't think Chop is a guy at all. I think Chop has got to be that 50 look outside linebacker shooting. He just can't stop the run, and he's got two moves. He's got the speed, one step off the line of scrimmage, and he's got like a mediocre bull rush. And by year 2, Phillips had strung together a series of moves. When you go watch Phillips year 1 to year 2, it was amazing how many moves he started developing, because he was kind of like Chop year 1. But Chop's not going into year 3. He's had multiple concussions, can't stop the run. And I just don't think him. I mean, he'll fit a little bit, but you look at the ends that they like over in Green Bay, they're usually, 3 down guys. And they're usually a bit bigger. And he's just, I don't know. I don't think he fits long term. Short term, it's going to have to be.
How about Willie Gay?
Well, he's not. He's a free agent now, so. But he could work. True. He could work. Maybe because song and dance.
Yeah, because he's he can play linebacker. He can play edge. He's
we need ends. But I think honestly, I think though, from what I remember, and I do think Sela could play an end spot. If you watch him, he's very good in that 4 and 5 technique. When he first got here, like a second season,
I think he did play defensive end.
Yeah, I did film on him going against Becton with the Jets, one-on-one on a critical third down. He is good enough, big enough to I think you could have a D end of Sela, Grant, and Phillips. Biggers you throw in there, and then maybe find a DN later in the draft for the other DN spot, and then you'd have Chop to come in on occasion, be like a third down pass rush specialist. But
maybe you can move Chop to linebacker.
Yeah, maybe. maybe
you can move him there.
I think I just don't see him as an end. Not in this scheme.
Yeah, but he's big enough to be a linebacker.
Yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, but Kenny, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of the mental side. Yeah. And if you watch his mental side, it's not so hot either. So maybe. But I think with Sealer, you could, because remember when you're playing your 4-3, you slide that thing usually, and you spread it out depending on the front. You could put him on the heavy side and get a smaller DN, the 260, 70 range on the weak side, and you could have Sealer play the heavy side with, say, a Grant and Phillips, and you'd have 3 of the 4 guys, and I think you'd get some stuff going over there,
Yeah, that could probably work too. Defense, and let's who would fit that scheme that you were just talking about, that we just talked about, in the defensive backfield? Would Minka work? Would Rasul Douglas work?
Rasul's a free agent. Get rid of him. I mean, let him go. He's too old, and he's not going to want to come back from a rebuild. Now, oh man, I always forget the guy's name. The kid we drafted in the 5th. What happened? Oh, I got knocked out.
Did you? What happened? Yeah. I tried to bring you back on. Did you hit something?
No. It says I lost connection to my camera. I could just talk.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's whatever. I got a rigmarole system over here. Anyway, what's the kid we drafted in the 5th round? Big kid. They try to play him at safety. I always forget his name.
Dante Trader?
No, not Trader. They try to play him at nickel.
Marshall?
Hey, Chris. Yeah, Marshall. I think Marshall can go out there and play a boundary. But I don't think, Chris is my guy, man. If we create Packers South, will that instantly acclimate us to call? Yeah. Maybe we might. We don't know. We can use that. But no, right. I think that's the only guy. I think Marshall is the only guy you got. Trader's going to have to play a safety spot. I would move Minka for a 3rd round draft pick because he was unhappy last year. He's not going to be happy this year. And you're not going to get more for him next year. And I would just move off him. I'd have Trader. I'd try to find some other guys, get something for the future. Jones, too small. He's a free agent. Kohu, injured, free agent. The one kid we picked up doesn't look like he's too bad. But he got injured. He's always injured.
Melifanu?
No, not Melifanu. He's a free agent.
Ashton Davis?
He's a free agent too.
Jack Jones?
No, not Jack Jones. We picked him up for like 2 games. He played really well and he got injured. He was a tall kid, 6'2", 6'3". I can't remember his name right now.
I can't remember his name either.
Anyway, we picked him up and he was playing well, but he got injured, but he's always injured. That's another guy you'll throw into the mix, but we need lots of help. But I think Marshall could do it. Yeah, Brent. Juju Brents. Yeah, Juju Brents. Thanks, brother.
Man, I forgot about him.
Yeah. So
he was playing good.
Yeah. So, but then you got to find a nickel guy, but you can find a nickel guy a little bit later. You don't got to get a 1st round draft. The guy I want, and I don't know if we'll be able to get him. I don't even know if he's the right guy. Is Styles. I'd love to get that linebacker Styles, put him next to Brooks, because remember, if we run like Tampa 2, there's a lot of area to cover. He's a like ex-safety. You could bring him in maybe, and he could play a couple different roles for you. I love him a lot. But it's going to take a while to fill this thing out. I think we're actually closer with the linebacker in front than we are with the secondary.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And you brought up a good point too, man. Those names that I just,
free agents, out there. Every last
free
one.
Agents, man. Yeah, we got like 30 free agents on this roster.
Yep.
Who we bring, it's going to be who we bringing back? That's
not really many guys, not many.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's going to be a down year. I just don't see how we can rebound, because you're going to have to get rid of Hill. You're going to have to try to get rid of, Tua maybe, or Chubb. And I went over the numbers. You can only get 2 guys post June 1st. Who are they going to be?
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, you can just extend Chubb, but then if he gets injured, then you're locked in.
Yeah.
Hill's got to go. It's 35. Yeah. If you do post-June, it's 35 and then like about 15 dead. You want to get rid of, Minka's got a contract you can get rid of. Trade him post-June 1st. Jackson's going to have to stay. You're not going to be able to get rid of Jackson because you got to do it post-June. So he's coming back.
Yeah.
But,
he's probably going to end up being hurt again.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Austin.
they better draft some depth there at the right tackles position.
Oh yeah, they got a lot.
Or bring somebody in.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I think Marshall, he's a guy we don't really like. We're not a jam. Hafley's not a jam guy. He likes to play his guys 6 to 8 yards off the ball. And they got to keep one eye on the quarterback and keep one eye on their zone. But I think he could do it. I just don't like him in man. And I don't like him in nickel. I think he's a guy, though, that might be someone. Him and Trader. Trader's smart. And that's what they want, So those are at least 2 options, possibilities.
And he's physical.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
He'll tackle.
Yeah, that's what I like about him, his physicality for sure. So that's the defense. That's the defense side of the ball. Let's shift gears. Let's go to the offense side of the ball. We don't have a quarterback. Look, I've been hearing some I know TD Finn's talk. Who else was it? Even George from Finn's Faithful podcast are talking about Ty Simpson, from the kid from Alabama. He's only got one
video. He did a good video on him.
Yeah, he did. And he only has 1 year of college starting experience. But a lot of people feel that he's a cerebral guy. He doesn't have a rocket arm. He's got an, maybe above average arm, maybe. He's accurate. He has some mobility, and he stuck it out for 4 years there at the same spot in Alabama. He didn't move around. He stayed, there and learned. He got his shot as a starter, and he did pretty well his first year. For someone, it's all, for his first year. I mean, go look at Joe Burrow's first and second years. Not too good.
Yeah.
Now he was good the second and third year. His last year, he was really good. He was tremendous. So anyway, that's what they're talking about there. TD was saying, a little birdie told him that Ty Simpson is in their sights, the Dolphins. So we'll see. Then what do you think about bringing in Malik Willis? You think they're looking at him as well as for competition for Ewers and whoever else they bring in?
I just don't see it, because whether you keep Tua or you don't keep Tua, you're going to have like 60 to 100 million tied into the quarterback. And you think that Malik Willis is going to come here for $5? It's going to be 20. No. It's going to be 20 million minimum. And then who's going to want to bid for him? This is desperate. The Jets probably are desperate. The Colts, they're going to go back with Daniel Jones. Maybe, but there's a lot of teams that could be bidding. So you could get into that 30 range, maybe. And can we afford that? We're broke.
Yeah.
We're going to have over 50 million dead money this year and close to 50 dead next year if you get rid of Tua.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Dougley Do-Wrong has a really good video he put out. I think it was either today or sometime this week. He put out a really good video on he said there's 4 options that you have in order to get to release Tua. And he went over those 4 options. And if y'all go back, who's in the chat, who's out there, wherever you're at, go check out the Dougley Do-Wrong video on that. It was pretty good. I just saw a few minutes of it. But there's 4 options he presented, ways that you could release Tua Tagovailoa. And the way that they're talking, Hafley and all that, he said, Hafley said, well, I had a good talk with Tua. We talked about everything and this and that and the other, but we're gonna pick the quarterback is going to give us the best chance of winning.
Yeah.
So, and then he says, then they asked him, well, what do you look for in a quarterback? Well, he says, I want him. He has to be mentally, now don't quote me on this, but he said mentally, he has to be with it. He has to want to play football. He has to have a heart. He's got to be a guy that when he walks into the locker room, everybody says, that's my quarterback. and he said physicality. He's got to be physicality, and the mental aspect of the game. Does that sound like Tua?
No.
You know what I mean? So to me, the writing's on the wall for Tua Tagovailoa. One way or the other, I have a feeling these guys, the coaching staff, Sully, it's really up to Sully, right? He and Shore, those guys. I think they're going to make a decision, and I think they're going to. I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think so too. How you slice it, but then how do you fit in like a $20 to $30 million for Willis?
Well, here's the thing. If that's the guy you think is going to win you some games, I'm not saying to be the future, to be the franchise guy, but a guy that's going to win you a few games, and you think he has an upside.
But here's my problem. So if he wins you a few games, like Fitzpatrick, he's going to win you a few games to not get your long-term answer. And then even if he is your long-term answer, so by the time you're ready to build a team around him, he's going to be a $50, $60 million guy. So you're never going to get the cheap. The best way to win is you get a quarterback that's coming into his own towards the end of his rookie contract, and you get 2 years out of that rookie contract. And then he's a superstar, but decides to take a little bit less.
Right.
And so if you bring him in now, and say like in 2 years you develop the team, he's not going to Super Bowl this year. He's not going to Super Bowl next year. He's not going to conference championship this year. So that means 3 years from now, is he going to sign a 3-year contract? It's going to be a 2-year contract. He's not going to sign a 3-year contract for $20 million or $30 million. It's going to be a 2-year contract. Prove it. Maybe 1-year contract. Or two, give you, you're going to sign me, give me $30 million, and I'll sign for 2 years. And then I'll give you one prove it year. And then if it works out well for you, kind of goes splits. But then by year 3, you're talking about 50 or 60. Who knows what the contracts are at that point. And so you've never, and then if he's good enough, then he's raising your victory levels and you're not getting top picks. And when you get this quarterback, maybe you could find a Knicks, but then when are you going to have time to draft that guy? Because all your picks going to be elevated. You've got already Ewers, and then you'd have Willis, and can you really afford to, so I don't know. I don't see, unless he's absolutely elite. If you go get him and he's pretty good, you're going to lose. He's got to be absolutely a star.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but then, who are you going to put around him?
Yeah.
At least the first year or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're building a roster. So those are good points. I know Omar Kelly, he was talking about that, and he was saying, well, Malik Williams is, what they would probably do. This is just his opinion. He said, what they would probably do if they were to get a Malik Willis is they'd give him a 3-year contract for like, $60 million and $40 million guaranteed. And he says, if they feel that he's the guy that's going to win for you, or he has an upside to him, they're going to get him. They'll go out and get him.
Yeah, but if you're Willis and you believe in yourself, you're not locking yourself in for 3 years for $60 million.
Yeah,
I think you could easily get 2 years and bet a deal for that. Bet on yourself, and because then it's going to be a 3-year contract,
right?
And if he's that good, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. We're just shooting the breeze, We
nobody knows.
Man.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, man. I'm not going to pretend like I know because I don't.
I'm not big on McCoy. I'm not big on McCoy.
I saw that
ACL injury, and no. I don't think with what he's doing, you need to go. I think there's other players you could get instead of McCoy. I like what's that guy's name? I can't remember. There's a kid, but he's going to go probably early. I did him in my podcast, but I can't remember his name. There's one really good.
Is it down?
No, he's a safety.
Oh, he's a safety. Okay.
Yeah, I'll find his name.
What do I know? What do I know?
No,
But
I'll find him right
anyway,
here. He's probably going to go top like 6 or 7. What's his name? I'll find him right here. Oh yeah, Mansour Delaney. He's a guy I really like for what we would do.
Who's he play? Who's he play for?
He's cornerback. He plays for LSU, and he's a guy who can keep his eye on a quarterback and drop into zones. I really like him, but I don't think he's – to me, Mansour Delaney, Downs, and Styles are the 3 guys that I'd want at that 11 pick that I really I at this stage believe in, you know? To me, Styles reminds me of sort of a knockoff Parsons, but with more linebacker ability. You ever watch that guy shoot, man? He's got some real pop to his step. He's like 6'5", 243, former safety. I just like what he brings, and he's physically get off blocks. He attack, stack, and shed. I really like that. I don't know if he's going to be there for us, but I like him the best so far. Although Delaney I like a lot too. I like Downs.
Okay, so going back to the offense, so you're the offensive line specialist. So
that's what they say. Well,
who do we keep and who do we release?
Well,
you already mentioned Jackson. We're gonna.
Yeah, he's Jackson's. We got to keep him, but he's got to go.
Yeah.
Paul's a guy you're gonna keep. He's gonna fit. Jonas Savaianaya, who knows if he keeps playing like this, he's got to go.
He's a guy. He's terrible, man. I have never seen a rookie guard play as bad as him.
Oh, he's awful.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it in the whole time.
Well, you thought you saw it with Eichenberg.
I did think with Eichenberg, but Jonas Savaianaya is he's like you said, he is just bad. I just don't know if he's going to be able to correct his technique or any of that. But so he doesn't fit the system, right?
No, he would definitely. No, he would fit this. He's got that's the weird part. He's pretty good on his feet. He's got size, although it's a little doughy.
Yeah.
He's got the agility, but if you watch his feet, they point in different directions. He's got this extraordinarily wide stance. I think they were high as a kite to draft him the way they did. I don't know how. Like, even if you watch his first step's always up and down in the same spot. And I don't like arguing with somebody, but like anytime you check any offensive line, like understanding of football, the first step is 4 to 6 inches. You got to take that first step, and you go nowhere. You get a head over his shoulders. It's like clear. So he's got and he's not physical. Like his hands, he just lays his hands out there, and he's all over the place. There is so much. I mean, if he had average technique, he'd be okay because he's pretty big, although it's doughy.
Yeah,
and he can kind of move. But he is as big a question mark and enigma as you could imagine because you look at Eichenberg, the guy had no keister. And he had these skinny legs. So you figure, all right, this guy's going to, but Jonas he's got the stance is so weird. The toes, they point different directions. The hands, they don't pop out. So I don't know. And Brew's a guy, they talked him up and stuff, but if we're running this heavy outside zone stuff, I just don't see heavy outside zone and Paul matching. Paul needs to have some outside zone, more gap, inside zone type stuff. And then that's where really Brewer struggles. And, maybe you could get 2 excellent guards that could handle power so he wouldn't get attached and he could just get to the second level. You could have one-on-one blocks more. But right now we got 0 of those guys. So,
yeah. And how about Cole Strange? He's another one.
Forget it. Strange's got to go to another planet. Stranger in a strange land someplace else. He's no good.
Yeah, I agree. So he's got to go. How about, so we need a guard. We need a right guard because I don't think James Daniels will be back next year. He was injured.
Well, it's a money thing. They might have to bring him back.
They might. Yeah. He was I thought he signed a 1-year contract.
No, 2.
Was it 2 years?
Yeah, I'll check the numbers, but I thought we could get rid of him.
It was cheap. It was like $8 million, right? Something like that.
Yeah, but we locked in money but that was a Greer special right there. Let me go look at the numbers quick. Hold on a second.
Yeah. And then Brunskill, he's another guy.
He's a free agent. He's gone.
Yeah, he'll be gone too. So we got some old line that we're going to have to bring in here as well.
Yeah, so if we cut him pre-June, which we got to. You're talking about where did I go with him? Minus you got 5 dead and you lose 1.1 million. So you'd have 5. No, but you're losing 1.1, but you're putting 5 dead on in your dead cap. So you're stepping to get rid of them. You're stepping back 1.1 current cap, and then you're tacking on another 5 dead. That's for right now we're currently at 16 million below the cap, and we got 53 guys on the roster. But now you're not factoring and getting rid of Tyreek, which is another 8. You'll get money back, but that's not going to even happen till post June. So you can't. Post June. So you're not even going to have really a lot of money for free agency. So, and then who knows with Daniels? I mean, he came off an Achilles injury, and then he came off a chest injury. The guy hasn't really played in 2 years. He was injured like 2 or 3 in 24. So this guy hasn't played in like a year and a half, over a year and a half.
Well, and a lot of folks don't understand. Don't understand. They understand. They don't know. A lot of folks don't know. If you go back and look at his injury history, he's been injured a lot.
Yeah.
He's been injured. He, like you said, he's only played like a year and a half of football, even though he's a 4 or 5 year guy.
And he wasn't that good too. People don't remember that he was with the Bears and he was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was good for those 4 games. Everybody was all high and mighty. Oh my God, he's great. 4 games. Come on. I mean, even Zephaniah had good. He had a couple, 2-3 games that he played okay.
Yeah, sort of.
We need consistency,
below average,
man. Average, but we need consistency. That's the key. I don't care if a guy plays. That's what the thing is. A lot of us Dolphin fans, even I've done it. They say, "Oh my God!" They see one guy, one game or two where he sacked the quarterback twice in that game. He's like, "Oh man, that guy's a keeper. He's an All-Pro," and then you don't hear from him for another 10 or 12 games. Well, I mean, everybody has a game. A blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. You know what I mean?
100%.
But
that's the hardest part. That's the real hardest part. I think it's the hardest part about presenting tape on a player, and it's the hardest part about evaluating a play. You've got to have a broad base, long-standing view of the player. It makes it very. And the same thing goes back to Willis. He's got 3 starts really.
That's it. You're right.
And so it's like, are you going to bet 20 to 30 million on this guy? I mean, Sullivan should know and Hafley, but that's hard.
Well, Hafley has a good relationship with him. He said he was a real good guy to teach, and he was willing to learn.
You watch the film, and it's very intriguing, and his personality is aces, but man.
Yeah. I agree. And it all boils down to, Curtis, like we were just talking about, the cap hell we're in,
Oh, big time.
But who would you like to see them bring in, or bring any? I mean, we already got Cam Miller on the roster. We got Tua. We know. I have a feeling. Just my opinion. I don't know. I think the writing's on the wall for him, though. To be honest. But we got Cam Miller, who came from the Raiders practice squad. And then we've got Ewers, who was a 6th round draft pick, or was it 7th? 7th. There you go. 7th round draft pick. So what are we going to do? Are we going to draft the quarterback? Or are we going to bring in one of these?
That's what I would do.
There's a bunch of free agents around, man.
That's what, if I was the GM, I would just gut everything I can over the next 2 years. It'd probably take 2 years to gut everything out. You run with Ewers, you pick yourself up a 3rd round draft pick for a quarterback, unless there's some stud in the 2nd round. I might, if there was not the exact guy I wanted, I would see if I could trade out of that 11 spot, try to get yourself some more ammo for 2027. And you got Ewers, you got whoever you pick up this year, and then you'd probably have a top pick next year to get your quarterback. And you got one of these guys got to pan out. And if you can get, say, Ewers to look good this year, then he's a guy maybe you could trade and get some ammo. And then you got the guy in the 3rd round, hopefully you're developing, and the guy you draft in 27. But to lock yourself in early with a free agent, I don't know. I think you got to You cleared the like I said at the beginning, you cleared out the upper management, you cleared out the staff, clear out the cap, clear out the player garbage, and start from the beginning. Don't cheat the steps.
Yeah, I agree, Curtis. I agree, Curtis. And time is getting short here. But I think a lot of us Dolphin fans, we've got to get this out of our mind. You know, we've got the PTSD, you know, from Chris Greer. You know, everybody feels, and I'm feeling it too. You know, I'm kind of feeling it, but I know it's not going to happen because, well, at least from according to Sully and Halfley, they're not going to go crazy in free agency, at least not this year. But everybody's, you know, got that PTSD. They're just waiting for them to make a couple big splash, you know, trades in the off season, you know, bring in the couple of big name free agents. You know, it ain't happening this year. I know it's not, you know, but I still feel it. I got that PTSD from Chris Greer being in this Dolphin organization, bringing all these injured players in, you know, making the big splash. You know, Tyreek Hill, Terran Armstead, Bradley Chubb, and all this kind of stuff. I sucked it up too, man, you know. But anyway, Curtis, I want to thank you very much for joining the show tonight, brother. I know you got some stuff going on down there in Panama where you're at. Some high winds and rain, and I know you've been losing electricity and stuff like that. So you made a sacrifice to come on here tonight. You really did.
Oh, my pleasure.
It, man.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. So can you tell everybody where they can find you again so we get everybody over there running over there?
I'm working on expanding. Yeah, I'm working on expanding. You can find me at Ace Per Head at YouTube, Curtis at Ace Per Head YouTube. Trying to do some other stuff to expand out, but that's primarily the spot. Then is with you, George, and Finn's Faithful, and I'm trying, like I said, get back to the Twitter thing. So come check me out there. I cover the Dolphins. I'm working on expanding to other teams. So basically, the YouTube thing is where I linger, live, and do my thing.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the show tonight. All y'all that are in the chat, you know, I saw you all. I really didn't spend a lot of time in there today. I'm sorry I neglected you guys and gals. But next week, or sometime this week, I'm going to try to schedule a show with Larry K from Phin Addict Fury. He's going to come on, as I said earlier today when I did my promotion in X. He's kind of brings real talk to his channel, gives you all a dose of reality. He's honest with his takes. And so we're going to have him on, and we're going to talk Dolphins football. So look out for that on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Maybe sometime this week, before the end of this week, or maybe next week. Just be looking out for that on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Real Talk Fins Talk. Curtis, thank you, and everybody have a great evening. Good night. God bless, and remember, Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.